I think it's quite reliable. However, on days where the weather is uncertain, it becomes a bit tedious to rely on the public transport because it's very jumpy, the schedule. It's not set anymore because of the jam and the weather and whatnot. So if the weather is fine, the MRT services are all usually okay. I know my routine already, so the schedule is quite set. But on days where it's like an odd hour, like 11 o'clock, they take quite a bit of time if it's not rush hour. So there's that part of the service as well yang isn't very reliable.
Jarak perjalanan dari rumah saya ke tempat kerja dalam 15 minit. Kalau jam, dalam 20 minit. Kalau tak ada masalah kesesakan lalu lintas, dalam 10 minit sebenarnya 15 minit dah sampai dah. Macam tu. Contoh, sebab saya jenis dah hafal jadual bas. Contoh kalau saya masuk jam 1, saya akan turun 12.30 macam tu sebab 12.35, 12.40 bas akan ada. Macam tu. So bagi saya lebih senang bila you tahu bas punya jadual. Kadang-kadang terlepas juga dan kadang-kadang apa yang saya expect, contoh 12.30 dia ada tapi dia tak ada. Dia lambat pula macam tu. Yang tu kita kena tunggulah, tapi setakat ni bagi saya tempoh menunggu tu tidak begitu membebankan saya sebagai pengguna MRT bas. Macam okey lah.
Yeah, they are fine. Just that sometimes I notice like during the weekends the train gets slower. Like it'll take, for example, if like the weekdays it's like 5 minutes waiting time. If on weekends it gets to like 10 minutes sometimes. It depends on the peak hours lah. I've never taken during lunch hour, but when it comes to early morning, I would say it's pretty on time. Just that sometimes, like for example, normally because I go work at 9, so normally I either have to take the 8:30 or 8:45 bus. But sometimes there are instances where I'll be here 8:30, but you can't find the 8:30 bus, so I have to wait for the next bus.
So that it depends. It really depends on case by case basis. So during peak time, for example, like right now, where if I wanted to go back home, so now it's like during peak hours, right? So the frequency is not really. It's actually quite okay. Like you normally just had to wait around like 10 minutes or 5 minutes even. But once you go to the non-peak hours, like 9 to 8, or even like 10 o'clock p.m., or like in the morning during weekends, for example, then you had to wait a little bit longer, like around like if you, for example, like missed the bus, you probably had to wait for like 30 minutes.
The impact on infrequent public on the feeder bus is that people will lose the last mile connectivity. So the thing is that it defeats the purpose of the public transport in a whole, that people still need to drive to the nearest, let's say the nearest rail transport, like the MRT or the LRT station. So it actually adds congestion to the road as well. And then also because of that last mile connectivity problem, sometimes when we drive to or people drive to these stations, they have lack of parking, and also there could be any other issues, so they might be late for whatever they need, wherever they need to go or whatever they need to do. It's a catch-22 situation. The management should be able to control their driver, or should actually schedule their driver to have their toilet breaks or to have their tea breaks, because as a feeder bus user myself, or any bus for that matter, under our Rapid KL or network or whatever, the driver would suddenly stop their bus and they buy their teh tarik, they buy their curry puff, to eat and all that. While we are all human, we also understand the bus driver need to eat or maybe go to toilet or something like that. But the thing is that this one, it actually adds, it's kind of an irritation, for commuters, because it affects their schedule, their timetable, for both the bus company as well as for the commuters, because everybody needs to go somewhere to be on time and all that.